Amazon establishing a bigger footprint in the Fort Wayne area. IU makes a historic move, naming its first female president. And the Indianapolis Motor Speedway makes a long-awaited announcement regarding fans at this year's race. For perspective on how it could all impact the Indiana economy, pleased to welcome our panel of insiders this week. Katz Corn Cunningham, attorney Norris Cunningham. Also, Hollowell Consulting President Jennifer Hollowell, and Vox Global Managing Director Mike Marker. And welcome one and all to the Insiders this week.
Thanks for having us.
Well, let's start with the new state budget. And Jennifer, I'll throw it to you first. A big budget, $37.4 billion, that had some real bipartisan support.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Governor Holcomb called this transformational, and it really is in so many different ways. We could do a whole show on the major investments that it makes. But what I think really surprised a lot of people today was the bipartisan nature of it. The vote in the House was 96-2, and the two who voted against are actually right-wing Republicans, and the Senate vote was 46-3. So garnered a lot of Democrat support, I would say probably in large part because of the incredible funding of K through 12 education. But one of the other things that's really big is this new $500 million for a regional economic acceleration and development initiative, which is, if you think about probably 5 years ago, the Regional Cities Initiative, which was transformational for many communities, this is 6 times larger than that.
Yep. Let's pick out a lot of elements, obviously, in the budget. Norris, I know you were really pleased to see a big chunk of money for rural broadband.
That's exactly right. Gary, I think each time I've been on your show, I've talked about the need for expansion of broadband in rural areas. In 2018, the state made a sizable, what at the time was supposed to be a one-time expense toward or funding for broadband. And now they're matching that in this biennial budget, $100 million in the biennial budget for expansion of broadband in rural areas. And that'll increase broadband in about 41 counties in the state over that period of time, I believe, and something like 22,000 homes. Yep. The pandemic has made really clear the importance of access to broadband, and so this is a really big step that, quite frankly, is in keeping with what's been done with the education budget as well.
Yep, Mike, I know you like to see the teacher pay element in the budget.
Yeah, I'm excited about a number of things in the budget. And I shared Jennifer's comment about it's great to see such strong bipartisan support on this. I'm the son of retired public school teachers from Fort Wayne, so when I look at teacher pay and the increases coming there, we can certainly say it's long overdue. It's probably not enough, but it's a really positive step in the right direction. The state's taken some good action here. The locals will need to follow through on it, but I'm excited to see that investment in our teachers.
Pamela Whitten selected as IU's next president. She comes to IU from Kennesaw State University in Georgia. Norris, your take on this, the first female president in IU history, your thoughts on the selection?
Obviously, it's historic, and is I think it positions IU well. She's certainly very accomplished, having been the president at Kennesaw State in Georgia, which is the second largest university in the state of Georgia. So, but from a diversity perspective, Gary, this is a very big and very important step that IU has taken. DePaul has taken the same step, naming an African-American female president. The McKinney Law School here in Indy now has an African-American female dean. So these are very, very big steps, big moves in the right direction from a diversity standpoint. And so it really should be celebrated by us all.
Mike, you're from Fort Wayne. Amazon picks Fort Wayne for a 1,000 job fulfillment center, but that's on top of so many projects in downtown, riverfront development, the Electric Works project, new corporate headquarters in downtown Fort Wayne. What are they doing to make all this happen?
Fort Wayne is really on a roll, and I think up there it has to do with a lot of collaboration that's going on. A lot of people rowing in the same direction, looking at bringing talent into that part of the state, not just Fort Wayne, but Northwest Indiana as well. So they have a lot of leaders, a lot of officials, a lot of community folks just working towards what do we need to do on any number of fronts, whether it's lifestyle, things like Electric Works, it's going to be a wonderful talent generator, lifestyle projects, and certainly Amazon coming in. I mean, they've had a strong and steady march in Indiana, right? They have, they said they've invested now $20 billion over the last 10 years, some 20,000 jobs. Great to see a number of those coming to Fort Wayne, and it'll continue the momentum going on in that part of the state.
Yeah, Jennifer, I'll throw it to you on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. A big announcement this week, 40% capacity, up to 40% of fans, so about 135,000 fans for the race next month. Your take on that, that's a big number, would be the biggest sporting event to be held since the pandemic began.
I'm very excited about it, and I will definitely be one of the people there. We renewed our block, and you know, it really is just fitting that Indianapolis would be hosting this large event. You know, we just came off of an incredibly successful March Madness tournament and kind of proved that we can do things and do them right. And I think that IMS and the teams there have worked really hard on a plan that will be successful. And I think a lot of people are excited to be back at the track and enjoy, you know, one of our kind of most special events.
Yeah, indeed. Go ahead, Norris. Very quickly, Norris.
Well, yeah, I was just going to say, I think it's very good, and I think it's certainly a step in the right direction. It is going to concern people to have a crowd that large when we are still in the midst of the pandemic. We've got about 1.8 million Hoosiers, I think, something like that, fully vaccinated at this point. That number will grow. But it is concerning for some to have a crowd that large, even outdoors at this point.
All right. We'll see how that rolls out. Norris Cunningham, Jennifer Hollowell, and Mike Marker. Great perspective. Thanks for joining us. We'll see you soon. And I'll be right back after this.